What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Jacked Ramsays. The Fighting Josh Harts take out the Washington Wizards 127-118. Josh Hart with a career-high 44.8 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steal night on 15 of 21, 6 of 9 from the three-point line. A game of ages for Senor Hart. You know what? The guy deserved it. The guy needed it. Danny Marang, Brandon Sprague. Hart has been trying to bring the Hart as the only viable NBA rotation player over the last couple weeks. To see him get this kind of release valve and kind of get to enjoy this a little bit after having the worst ass kicking in NBA history over a 5 and 6 game span, Sprague, pretty cool to see.
One, I think happy for Josh Hart to have a game like that. A lot of players never get that moment,
no,
right? And he's been in the league a minute. He never had that moment. I thought it was cool that Justice Winslow basically called him his Barack Obama for getting 44. That was pretty funny. And, you know, I think it needs the Anthony Simons treatment. I think his back got a little tight after tonight. Let's assure ourselves that's the only win they get the rest of the way. And congratulations to them for being able to snap that horrific losing streak.
Because it wasn't just, you know, a loss or two or, you know, just kind of in some games and then falling apart. They quite literally set records. NBA infamy, the worst margin of defeat over 4, 5, and 6 game spans. Mm-hmm. They got throttled to a level that's, well, it is what it is. Again, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for helping us grow this stupid show. It has been unreal. We are just short of 3,000. As interest in the team has tailed off a little bit, things have slowed down ever so slightly. I would expect us to pick back up here as we get closer to the NCAA tournament. We will have NCAA tournament stuff as soon as we know tomorrow after Selection Sundays what the brackets look like, what games we are. I am going to get with the watch playback guys, and I will get the games scheduled. So for those of you that have access, I don't know, maybe during your work week and would like to come hang out during some games, we will have that as an option for all of our members. But I also set you up here, Brandon. You didn't take the bait, unfortunately. I gave you the ability to be Downer Brandon right there with the win. Yeah. But you kind of you great white sharked it. You're like, I'm not going for the old tuna. I'm waiting for that bluefin to come back in. I want the fresh stuff. You were not happy with the Blazers obviously getting the win tonight.
No, I mean, look, I could have gone a little harder. It's hard for me to do it because I've enjoyed that the team and the general manager have embraced the suck, that they've embraced the tank. You know, the reevaluation process for Ant, I think, is perfect. It smells exactly like a team that's tanking would do.
We should highlight that real quick. Anthony Simons, for those that don't know, is out with patellar tendinopathy.
I love saying tendinopathy.
The injury du jour of the Portland Trail Blazers this year. With a new medical staff, but he will be out at least a week, if not 2, and then will be reevaluated. There has been no return time. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we want to make sure we got that one in there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was upset in the first quarter and the second quarter, and you know that. Mm-hmm. I think when you know they're going to win, your anger seems to kind of subside as time goes on. I still walk away from this game pissed they won. But I generally, I truly mean this. Happy for Josh Hart.
Yes.
Happy for Trendon Watford, who, by the way, is not going to get maybe the same recognition. Drew Eubanks had his best game as a Blazer at home in front of his friends and family that go to these games. So, you know, there were some cool storylines to take away. I'm still rooting for the losses. I don't want to see him to win another game. I want him to go on a 23-game losing streak. Okay, let's make it a 22-game losing streak. But there's always a little positives you can reflect on. Now that tonight was a good night for Josh Hart, Drew Eubanks, and Trenton Watford.
There's a couple things in here I want to kind of highlight here. Somebody had a comment in here. It was like, Greg Mock says, a game I could actually watch, been a while. Yeah, it was a watchable, fun game. Everybody was trying to dunk everything except for Josh Hart, who was just trying to hit every single three. Devin, someone called Josh Hart Javelin since he's an anti-tank weapon. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's either Josh the Hitman Hart,
which you can't go with. But
why?
Javelin.
Why can't you go with that?
You can't take somebody else's name.
But it's basketball.
Yeah, but still, you can't take somebody else's name.
But it's a real sport.
Oh, wow. I wonder how many WWE, WWF crossover guys we have in here.
Well, I just said that to kind of like try to advocate for Josh to get the dig.
I mean, even he said it like, I gotta come up with my own. Javelin's a good one. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good one.
By the way, I was at WWE Monday Night Raw like 3 years ago. Okay, so I don't want to get it from the wrestling guys that I'm
a real fan. I swear.
It's still real to me. Damn it.
But again, let's give Josh Hart his flowers. Hell of a game, hell of a performance. You can tell he just was insane. Jay Allen has us now. The Blazers scored a season-high 70 points in the paint. Previous high was 58. All-Star match day season high in fast break points with 28. So a big chunk of that paint points came in the paint. But a lot of that, and again, let's give praise where it's due. Number one to Josh Hart. He scored basically from the three-point line or at the rim in transition. He had a pile of steals tonight. The Blazers had 10 steals. They got downhill. They played a different brand of basketball. And this is what we have said really all season. If they hit threes and they get out and run, they can do some things. But the problem is that most nights they can't hit threes. So
yeah. Well, and I still think, Danny, like tonight was a mixture. It was a back-to-back for Washington.
Spent a little time maybe in LA. Went to Nobu. Went out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I'm sure a couple of them did something, but like after that game, they probably jetted back up here, back to back, shitty team. It's again,
got a 50-piece dropped on you by Braun, and then 44 dropped on you by Josh Hart.
And Washington's bad. I mean, they're not a good team. They're like 3 or 4 games above Portland right now, so they're having an abysmal season. It's just too bad because Portland is the worst team, and yet played like the better team tonight. So you caught a bad team on a good night, and give them credit again. They took advantage of it. The only downer part of this that I'll say, and I get it, like some fans don't like to talk about this stuff. I get it. Tonight was a pretty pivotal night. Indiana won a game. You lost
against the Spurs, where either team losing is a good thing for you.
It's a great thing losing for you. Mm-hmm. And you could have caught the Pacers and been, I think, within 2 in terms of draft positioning. So you miss an opportunity for that, and it pushes and stays at 3. But, Josh Hart had his night, so good for him.
Randy Pangolin says, look at the starter minutes and no Blevins. They were trying to win tonight. So here's the thing, and I've seen a few people mention this before.
That might be a bad theory, to be honest.
I genuinely think with the way they sat down Anthony, I think this was them tossing Josh Hart a bit of a bone. Hey, dog, you're grinding through it for us.
Yeah.
It can't be easy to go from a Lakers franchise that sucked to a Pelicans franchise that sucked. And then knowing that you're coming here and like, it's going to be rough, but damn, not this rough. And this is the whole idea of trying to walk this tightrope of like, they should just tank every single game. It is miserable for professionals to go out there and lose every single game. Even the process 76ers, would they win 14 games?
Something like that, yeah.
They hated it. Those guys have all said that was miserable. You go out there every night getting your ass kicked. It is not fun. You do not make it to the NBA as a competitor and go with that. It's just not, it's not fun. Right. So I do think there may be some credence to them trying to get a win because they've gotten their ass kicked so violently over the last couple of weeks. Does that seem like much of a stretch to you?
No, it doesn't. I think that's a pretty good read maybe on the situation. Blevins really didn't play much tonight.
Did he get on the floor?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing him out there.
He did not.
He did? Okay. So Keljin Blevins didn't play. Every other game they've played where they've lost by a substantial margin.
Blevins got real minutes.
He got real minutes. So maybe to that person's point, that's really what they were. I'll say you're not wrong. It sucks to lose games, to know that your team's kind of purposely putting you in a position to lose those games. You have a pretty big stretch coming up here. You just started it now. You've got Atlanta coming up. You got Oklahoma City. You've got Houston. You've got San Antonio. I'm going to come from a selfish angle here, Danny. I don't care what your morale is. Like, I truly do hope. Well, because they're tanking.
No, I get what you're saying.
If we're tanking,
this is cake and eat it too stuff. Like, I 100% get what you're saying. And let's transition to that real quick. Actually, you know what? Let's stop for 1 second because I want to give Trenton Watford his flowers. Trenton Watford had his best game as a pro. Agree?
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
He cooked from all levels. I thought he was tremendous the entire game. It was incredible. 11 of 16, got to the free throw line, got some rebounds, got out in transition, got on the floor, got dirty, mixed it up with Hachimura, with Kuzma, with Gafford, like played undersized up against all those guys all night long and gave them work in the paint.
Right.
Like he's playing with real confidence to the point of like, he's going to be the 9th, maybe 10th man next year, maybe 11th. But if Trenton Watford gets out on the floor for them next year and the year after, you know what I'm going to say, Brandon? Nothing, because he's showing he's a capable NBA player.
Yeah,
and that's something to take from this game and this whole shit show. But I will say, let's get to what's the upcoming road trip, because they're going out on a 5-game road trip where it's a game every other day, actually with a back-to-back on the back end. So they have the Hawks on Monday. Wednesday, the Knicks. Friday, the Nets. Sunday, the Pacers. And then Monday, the Pistons. And it's kind of nice because those Pistons and Pacers game, number one, they're coming on a back-to-back, or they're coming on the back end of the trip as well. The Pistons are playing better. The Pacers
Cade's getting it going, yeah.
Yes, the Pacers are playing better basketball. The Nets are playing better basketball. The Knicks are still the Knicks. The Hawks are, I don't know. But there's a real chance for the Blazers to lose every single game on this road trip, and that is very important.
Oh, definitely. I'll say this. I think that they gave them a win tonight. They said, go get it. And I do think that they're going to lose every one of those road games. They're going to be able to score on some of those. Like Atlanta's defense is
dumpster fire.
It's non-existent.
No.
So even if it's just Josh Hart, you can go get some buckets. The Knicks have a revenge factor here. Remember, they're up 23 and they blew that game. I still don't know how they lost that thing. You're not beating the Nets. There is no chance in hell you're beating the Brooklyn Nets.
They did do it once already this season, hilariously.
Yeah, maybe the Pacers. We'll see. What's interesting about the Pacers is the Pacers are in a similar position, but
they aren't openly tanking.
Well, no, they're just playing young players.
Yes.
But I'm curious to see the strategy involved with that, because these games and
they matter.
The standings matter to these organizations. Mm-hmm. I do think they're going to go winless on the trip, though.
Sithafong says the race to the bottom is always interesting in a masochistic way. Yeah, no, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's going to be very interesting to see how this kind of all plays out. And I will say this in regards to the Wizards and this game tonight. I think you had a perfect set of circumstances in that the Wizards were playing on a back-to-back and the Blazers were playing off of 3 days rest.
Yep.
So this is one of those situations where you're not going to have that happen the rest of the season. So real quick. I believe from here on out they do not have more than 2 days off. Let me double check it. I'm almost
the whole season.
Yes, for the rest of the season. So they have 12th, 14th, 16th, 18th, 20th, 21st, 23rd, 25th, 26th, 28th, and 30th. They have a game every other night or on a back-to-back. They do not have more than 1 day off between now and the end of the month. Then it continues 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th, 10th. They do not. Between now and April 10th, they do not have 2 days off.
So they play every other day?
Every other day or a back-to-back between now for the next month.
Jeez.
That will catch up to them.
It's going to catch up to us.
Yeah.
we might need to strategize on doing guest pods and substituting some of these pre and post.
This is why we are not doing pre-games anymore.
Oh, man.
Because there's not a whole lot coming up outside of this. And this is why we're going to tone a little bit of our focus to the NCAA tournament. It is going to be fast and hard. For those of you who want to kind of come in and out, we're for the NCAA tournament stuff, I'm basically just going to have the watch party stream up and running on like a channel with a schedule, and it should flip from one to another based on what we're looking at. But we will not be doing pregame shows unless there is like massive breaking news on an injury or something along those lines. It's just,
which there won't be, by the way.
Yes, I refuse to slave to the content algorithm for a pregame show that has no meaning right now. We are not looking at matchups. We are not forecasting, what we're really excited to watch tonight. It is a known commodity at this point, ladies and gentlemen, what the situation is, and we do not need to adjust for that. When you look at this right now, what is your absolute outlook? Let's go into it right now. So the Blazers they've played now 66 games. They have what's that, 16 games
16
remaining now?
left, yeah.
16 games remaining. They have won, 26 games?
26 after tonight.
So 16 games remaining. How many of the final 16 did they win?
I want to say Joe is going to take this and say, all right, guys,
there
you go. I don't know if I buy that completely. If he threw him another bone or two, you got Houston, you got OKC, you got some real opportunities to maybe duplicate this. I'm going to say, I want to say 0, but I'm going to say 2.
I'm going to say 3. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
Remember, what was it, 3 weeks ago?
I'm not happy about either one of those answers.
It was either right before I went for surgery or right when I came back. I can't remember which one it was. But I said 31 wins seems about right. And you were like, no, they're not. They're going to eclipse that. And I'm like, 29 wins seems about right.
If they could finish at 28, it'd be ideal.
Listen, they could finish with 26, it'd be ideal. But
oh my God,
the margins are going to be thin down the stretch here. But I will say, again, Cade is on, and you can see him kind of making a push. I wonder how much Rookie of the Year stuff is mattering.
No, he's got 0 chance.
I'm just saying, Mobley's got it wrapped up, but I wonder.
Evan Mobley has it wrapped up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm wondering with that how that's going to play, and unfortunately, that's the bad news on the award side of this. With Ant being shut down, his most improved campaign probably went with it.
Yeah,
which is a bit of a bummer.
I know, and I did feel for him there. I don't think he would have won the award, but I think he could have finished top 3, and that would have been really cool to see because preseason his odds were plus 10,000.
Yes.
Cade, I don't know so much if it's Cade, I'm going to get rookie. The Rookie of the Year thing got wrapped up. It felt like the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
I think Cade's just kind of figured some stuff out. I think
he hit that wall, and then
yes. He's a cerebral player who's kind of seeing how he can maneuver himself within this league. Houston's playing slightly better. They're still bad, but they're playing slightly better.
Again, Jalen Green has figured some things out.
Oklahoma City, we've seen them beat this Portland team. So twice, while I might be concerned about it, I mean, history kind of suggests that it's more in Oklahoma City's favor than it is Portland. So, I don't know. I think 2 could even be a stretch. I really believe that because I didn't see them winning tonight. I'll admit I was wrong on this one.
I took the under, and I took prop bets on Kyle Kuzma and Rui Hachimura. So if anybody wants to know where my head was at.
Right. There you go. But I do wonder in the back of my brain, Joe seems like he's you and I in this sense. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is good. I know what I want. And I think tonight was, I'm going to throw you a bone. I ain't throwing you another. And I hope I'm right on that. Selfishly, it sucks. I get it. Some people are excited about tonight's game being watchable. I get it. I understand it. I'm trying to go from a logical standpoint.
It can't be all stick. There's got to be a carrot there every now and then. Because
there does.
Because it's not a team like OKC. Did you see Shea on the bench the other night?
Yeah.
Did you see, he's been out so much this season. The guy just wants to go out there and hoop. He's getting his ass kicked and he's getting pulled off the floor.
Yep. And
you can see that kind of same thing building.
Which, by the way, you could argue what they're doing with him is interesting because the vision's clearly there of we got a million picks, we got assets, we can maneuver. I mean, you keep doing this, and Shea Gilgeous is going to look around and go,
I need out.
How much longer am I going to do with this shit?
I think over the next 2 years, they're going to capitalize with their picks and their salary cap space. They're going to try to add to this team right now. I think
you got a great piece to start. I mean, you got a couple good players on that team.
You have a franchise player in Shea. Figure it out from there.
Mm-hmm.
There are teams right now, Orlando, who don't have that.
Well, we don't know if Suggs is that yet.
I'm not. Listen,
I'll
gladly eat soap on that one. I just do not believe he is a guy.
Well, and you might be right, but I don't want to do that with these guys, man. Some of these players, Suggs is 19 years old.
He could be fine as a player. I'm talking about being a franchise piece.
Oh yeah, well I'm still.
You're gonna still give him that chance? Okay.
Well, it's been ugly. I'm not going to tell you I've watched every Orlando game, but I've seen them a little bit on League Pass, and I've seen a couple good moments, and I've seen a lot of down.
Throw a tent over it.
Okay, all right, well.
I'm just saying. And the other good thing is that, not good thing, because that sounds bad, is that the Pelicans do have some injuries, and there are teams behind them that do have a chance to score and kind of figure some things out and chase them in the standings. DSJ MVP says Franz is that dude, Danny. Listen, I love me some Wagner. I do, but I don't see him as a franchise guy. I think he's a good player, but
you're labeling. What are you labeling franchise? Are you labeling like Dame?
Like a dude, like you can see him making All NBA. Shea, I can see making All NBA.
But what if he happens to end up being there long enough to be a good piece on a really good team? Like that's in a way a franchise guy, right?
Sure, especially if you're talking about Orlando, who has a sliding scale over the last 15 years.
Oh, wow. Boy, I didn't know you hated Orlando so much.
I don't hate them. I hope they get things
sounds
right.
Like you hate them.
It's like
I get it.
They just keep stepping on it.
You don't believe in magic. I understand. Pick a card.
How long you been holding that one in the drafts?
Just happened to present itself, man.
You believe in magic. There you go. Yeah, a little jingle. No?
In a young Dan's heart.
Yeah. Oof. I thought you said for a young Dance heart for a second, and I was like, I'm not dancing anytime soon, dude. Come on now. Everybody's in the comments right now talking about draft picks. We will get there, guys. We'll get there. I will make a announcement tomorrow on Twitch, or not Twitch, on Twitter and on the YouTube as far as like a schedule. As soon as we have something. You know what? Screw it too. I'll set up a bracketology thing for us too. I'll set up a Jack Ramsay's bracket
for the
just for us, for the community, everybody who wants to partake. Cool. I'll get some prizes. I'll get some stuff in there. So
everybody can jump in and they can give their picks on teams they didn't watch 1 second of.
Which is great. It's always funny. It's like, sure, here you go.
Senior leadership, guard play. We just go to the traditional.
Love it.
Cliches.
Make sure you pick every Pac-12 team possible. That's the best way to win in a tournament challenge. But other than that, we'll get out of here on that. Thank you all so very much. We're going to keep these short, light, sweet. We don't want to eat into your rest of your Saturday night. Maybe a mailbag tomorrow. Maybe, depending on how things go.
Yeah, I have to text you.
Yeah. I had a feeling we got a lot going on Selection Sunday and everything else.
Yeah.
But we will definitely start leaning into the draft coverage, NCAA tournament coverage, and the guys that are relevant for the Portland Trailblazers and how that goes. So, again,
we got a big guest coming up.
Yes.
A couple of days. We got a pretty big guest that we're excited about, a good friend of the show. We'll be able to sit down with him and release that to the subscribers.
Yes.
To the members.
You want to tease it, or do you want to give it away?
No, we'll tease it. We'll tell you who it is later.
Okay. All right. Other than that, guys, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. We appreciate you. We love you. Again, help us grow the show. Like, rate, review, subscribe. If you're new here, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. If you stuck it out, I hope you like us. Either way, click subscribe. Help us grow the show. Again, that's the feed to the almighty algorithm. We're just short of 3,000 right now, and we're trying to make that last push before the end of the year. We love you. We appreciate you. Help us grow the show. Share us with your friends. Share us with your family. If you're not a YouTube person usually, but you're just here, podcast is available. We're available wherever you get podcasts. All the post-game shows, all the mailbags, all of the stuff that we do outside of the pre-game shows, all the interviews, they end up on the podcast as well. So you guys can give us there wherever you get podcasts. And if you want to, leave us a review there. That is also incredibly helpful. So until then, we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.